Well, hey friends. So today I have a special guest for you. Her name is Bonnie Schefer, aka author DK Drake. And I just thought that she would be a really fun student to highlight because she's gone through my course, The Organic Marketing Framework, and she just has a very unique niche that she's serving. She actually serves young aspiring authors. Her podcast is called Published Before College, so that tells you pretty clearly what she's helping people do. But one of the questions that I get asked is, will this course work for me if I'm in XYZ, non-typical niche, if I'm serving an audience that is, not super stereotypical? And the answer is yes, it will work for you as long as you are selling something that solves a problem that people are searching for, right? Then SEO works for you. But Bonnie just has a really fun perspective on being able to dig in and learn the things and apply that with Bonnie's got a great growth mindset. And so I just thought it'd be fun for you to get to know Bonnie, to hear the words out of her own mouth about what she liked, about what worked for her, and about the actual traction and the growth that she has seen applying the strategies that I teach inside the Organic Marketing Framework. So kick back and listen in as Bonnie and I have a very candid conversation around the course and what she learned, her favorite parts, and really some of her hangups. Hey there, fellow entrepreneur. Welcome to Simple SEO and Marketing with me, Faith Hannon. Do you want to grow your business with organic marketing and finally feel like you can understand SEO? Are you scouring the internet for how to get more website traffic, SEO for dummies, and how to market on Pinterest? Have you tried to grow your business with SEO and blogging only to get frustrated and quit because it's overwhelming and too time consuming? Been there. Hey, I'm Faith Hannon, Jesus lover, copywriter, blogger, wife, wrangler of tiny humans, and barrel racer. And let me tell you, I didn't have time to waste sorting through SEO and keyword strategies that either didn't work or were so over my head I couldn't understand them. I honestly thought that SEO and blogging only worked for people with a PhD in tech jargon and a whole team of employees, until I learned these secrets. Good SEO strategies don't have to be complicated, and creating and marketing great content doesn't have to take more than a couple hours a week total. So pop in those earbuds, slam some coffee, and let's grow your business with simple organic marketing and a healthy dose of biblical encouragement along the way. Well, hi friends. So today I have my friend Bonnie with me, who we met in a class, a mastermind, and I just get to know this chick who is a writer and has this crazy awesome imagination, and she teaches other people how to write and how young people, youth, how to get published before college. And I worked in youth ministry, volunteer for 10 years, and I love teenagers so much. I just love teenagers. Give me a room full of teenagers any day. Love teenagers. And so to meet somebody that also loves to write, and has a heart for young people, and just you have a super specific goal, right? With your podcast and your website and all of the things that you're doing online. And so it's just so fun to just connect with you in that group, and then to have you purchase the Organic Marketing Framework, and me get to pour into you with what I know to help further your journey has just been so stinking cool. So first off, Bonnie, would you introduce yourself and just tell my friends a little bit about yourself, and kind of how you got started, and a little bit about your whole journey into even what is SEO? How did
Gotcha.
you're like, what?
Yeah.
Googling what is SEO? Because we've all been there.
So my name is Bonnie, and I am also known as author DK Drake, which is my fantasy author pen name. I chose to write under a pen name because, well, DK Drake just sounds more like a fantasy author than Bonnie Jean Schaefer, and it's easier to say and spell, and I got the alliteration and all of that fun stuff. So I write, like I said, fantasy fiction for young adults under that, and I've been just writing books and getting good at writing books, but not so good at the marketing stuff.
Mm.
And so I was like, well, how can I do marketing? I work a full-time job. but that's not really my passion. My passion is writing, and I love coaching and teaching and running and all things outside. And yet I still like to sit at my computer and live in the world of my imagination. But just trying to figure out how to actually get my word out there. How do I do that without a big marketing budget? So I joined the mastermind that Faith mentioned, started a whole new podcast called Published Before College, focused on helping young people write books and also get them published. You don't have to go through the whole traditional publishing route. You can if you want, but it's a lot more fun to do the self-publishing thing. And that's where I met Faith. And then one of the sessions in that, Faith actually taught about blogging. I was like, oh, well, I need to learn more from her about blogging. I'm a writer. I need to be writing, not just podcasting. But I was just so focused on, okay, how do I get these downloads? How do I get people to listen? And people were listening. And I finally have an audience and starting to learn how to market and not just write stories. So then Faith was, hey, I'm coming out with the course in January. I'm like, yeah, well, I don't know that I'm really ready to buy that. I'm just going to go to her little workshop and see what she has to say, see what I can learn from there. So I went to the workshop. I'm like, oh, that was really good. I always thought back before this, I was like, all right, I'll just do ads. It'll be a lot easier than SEO. I can't do SEO. That's just too much. It sounds too complicated. You should probably have to have this whole big team of people and be this big fancy company to win anything at SEO. Nobody's going to find me by searching. That's just not even possible. Well, Faith led me to believe otherwise. All right. I know her. I like her. I trust her. She says this. Maybe I should believe it. So did some praying. I was like, all right. God's like, hey, listen, this organic marketing thing, this is how you need to get out there. It's not just about putting out the dollars and paying. It's about figuring out how people think and what it is that they need. And then how can you service that need? That to me is what SEO is. It's about the people, and it's not just about this big optimization thing. It's like, all right, what are people looking for? And so it's like, all right, so I decided, hey, I'm going all in with learning organic marketing. I'm going to focus on growing my podcast. I'm going to focus on getting people to my website through my blog. And so I went through your course in January, and you're always show it. Like, I don't want to do show it. I'm already on WordPress. I've already got a website set up, and tech isn't exactly my forte. I'm just a solopreneur here. I'm doing I don't have any kind of VA, any kind of help. I can figure the tech out. It just takes me a little bit longer. And Faith is like, it's worth it. It's worth it. Do it. All right.
I made Bonnie promise not to hate me I was like, you have to give me like 2 weeks. Promise not to hate me. Like, remember, Jesus loves me. You have to not hate me for 2 whole weeks while you figure this out.
So I did some arguing with the computer and some battling, and I was like, all right. So I kind of figured out what show it is, and like, okay, now I have some idea of what it is. And then once I got into her course and she started teaching about, hey, this is where you need to put your keywords, and this is why it's so important. I was like, well, that makes sense. I can make this work. So I built out basically a framework for my site. I got in like keywords on the page titles, but I realized that the website that I had built before over on WordPress was just geared toward the readers of my books and not toward authors. And so just trying to figure out writing the copy on my website for the audience that I'm dealing with now, that I haven't really taken a chance to step back and be strategic and figure out what it is I'm doing here. So I kind of put my website building on pause once I got that frame built out. And I was like, I don't want people coming to this site. I don't have anything. One, I don't have any kind of freebie to give authors. I've got my books. I've got like a starter library of the fiction aspect of it, but nothing for writers. And then I'm still working on building a program for writers. And so I've got no author, I've got no offer, nothing to sell. So why do I even want to attract people? But I still need to build an audience and start growing. So anyway, I was in a very confused space. So I took the month of March off. I'm like, I just got to back away and get some perspective and start to be strategic about what it is that I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean, Angie went on an epic hike. Epic.
Yes. Went down to South America for a couple of weeks and hiked around Torres del Paino Park for like 8 days and saw some amazing, amazing sights. God made us a beautiful world.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just spectacular. I got away from the Wi-Fi, I got away from the computers, and just got to enjoy being outside literally for 8 straight days.
That's awesome.
And then came back. Like I said, I didn't put any episode out there at all in March. And I came back and I was like, all right, I should check my stats. So probably went down really bad. The only thing I changed after learning about how to do keyword research, which you teach in depth in the course, what size keywords I need to go for, understanding that a little bit more, and understanding that in podcasts I can go for a little bit bigger keywords than I can with blogging. So just understanding that difference. So I just changed the keywords in my title for my podcast, and I changed the keywords on my description of myself. And just making those two changes without even having any new episodes in March, I had like a 50% growth in my show.
Oh, wow, that's
awesome.
And
I went from a top 5% globally ranked podcast to top 3%.
That's
so
amazing.
I was able to see some growth with just a little bit of changes, a few minor changes.
That's awesome.
In there. And so another thing I learned through your course was just the content strategy. And so I now have a whole content strategy in place. So instead of just putting out random episodes here and there, I've got a whole plan in place.
That's awesome.
And I also have a freebie I'm working on that I'll probably have it ready in the next week or two, which is just a checklist of everything that you need to do from start to finish on building a novel. And then I'm working on getting a program where, okay, here's the checklist. And now you want to actually put that checklist, you want some help getting things done, then working on building a writer program that I'm planning on opening up in August to actually help you walk through each part of it step by step as I'm working on my next book.
Cool.
And so for the next few months, just just building out my website, getting the sales copy, just finding my voice, my sales voice, not just my fantasy author voice, but figuring out how to put it all together where it's me and it's like my training voice. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. And then by July, I plan to what I call turning my website SEO on, which is adding blogging into my strategy, making sure all my keywords are set the way that you teach in the course with the H1 and H2 and H3 headings and understanding how all of that works. And I fully expect by the end of the year, because I know it's going to take time, but I fully expect by the end of the year that my website will be generating traffic consistently and increasing in growth, and that I'll be my email list will be growing on a consistent basis. And I expect to have at least 10 authors in my program that doesn't even exist yet.
I love it though.
That's where I'm going. And I know how I'm going to get there. And I know, hey, if this one thing isn't working, I'm just going to tweak it. That's what I'm going to be relying on, is basically your course and your podcast. I've listened to every episode.
That's awesome.
And so you're my organic marketing coach, and you're the voice that's in my ear, and you're the one that I trust. And I have every intention of making big things happen. And I thank you so much for teaching me how to make this work.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And, as somebody that I also floundered around for a minute, felt like with online business and what am I doing? Where am I going? Where am I getting traffic? And it's like, there's so many things that I feel like we try as solopreneurs, to and then have to piece together that to finally I felt like I put a lot of sweat equity into figuring this out. Like if I can take this and make this easier for somebody else, it just makes it all worth it, because it shouldn't have to be that hard. And I don't want it to be that hard for other people, so I'm so glad that you feel like you have a plan, you feel like you have a strategy, you feel like you know where you're going, and you have the tools in your back pocket, so to speak, to get you there.
Exactly. And I didn't have that before. And now I do. And I know it's going to take time, because I only, I have the full-time job. I've got 4 kiddos. I like to, stay in shape. So I only have a small amount of time to work on my business, but now I know that I'm doing things on purpose
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to get the results
Mm-hmm.
eventually. I just
Mm-hmm.
got to keep at it, but
Yep.
I like the foundation that I've got. I'm confident I'm going to get where I want to go.
Yeah, that's cool. So what was your favorite part of the course?
Probably just learning how to do the keyword research
Mm-hmm.
effectively and learning the different tiers of growth. It's like, okay, yep, I'm at that little baby stage, but you know
Mm-hmm.
what? That's where I am, and that's okay. But I know how to start to get traction,
Mm-hmm.
and just learning just those basic things made the
Mm-hmm.
whole course worth it. But
Mm-hmm. Well, good.
but I just enjoyed that was probably one of the bigger takeaways was just learning how to do keyword research
I feel
effectively.
like once you wrap your brain around keywords, it's like all these light bulbs go off and you're like, ah,
Yeah.
I can use keywords, effectively for so
Yes.
many different things, and then you start to see how other businesses are using keywords or not using keywords. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I look at everything and I'm like, you're missing out on keyword. Maybe that's just my brain. But and for those of you who haven't looked at the outline of the course, there's actually a part towards the end where I break down, okay, you have this big of a team, this much revenue, this is what you should be doing for your content marketing. You have this big of a little bit bigger team, this much revenue, this is what you should be doing. And so that you don't feel like you have to be doing the same amount of work as somebody with a team of 50 people.
Yep.
Like let's keep it sustainable so you don't go crazy and so I don't get hate mail. Ain't nobody got time for that. So you said that probably your biggest outcome was having a strategy, like just an overall keyword strategy for your podcast, right?
Yep.
And you saw the most growth there because you kind of put your website on ice, so to
Yeah.
speak,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
on ice. And so most of the growth you saw was just like in having a strategy and then using that strategy for your main organic marketing, which happens to be podcasting.
Correct. Yep.
Cool. Did you have any fears around buying this course?
Uh, well, I had just come out of made a pretty big investment
Mm-hmm.
in the mastermind. I was like, I don't know. I really wasn't looking to buy any more courses. It's like I don't know if I can even work out the finances of it. But then you had a payment plan, and God's like, here you go. You can do this. I'm like, okay, no more excuses. So I just took the payment plan option because that was within my budget. And that was the biggest thing. It was like, is this something I can really afford? Should I invest in this after having
Mm-hmm.
just gone through a pretty big purchase that I haven't fully implemented all of that stuff? But this, I think, ties in really well with what we were learning in the podcasting. And
Mm-hmm.
I write all my stuff out for my podcast anyway. It's not like I'm doing anything extra a whole lot of extra for the blog. It's not because I'm writing everything out. I basically have to cut things on what I write for my podcast in order to make
Oh.
the blog
Mm-hmm.
outline make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But God's like, hey, listen, you need to be blogging and you need to be podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned podcasting from Steph and blogging from you. And those are the people I'm listening to. And that's it. I've kind of shut off all the other voices so I can just focus on doing what's going to work for me.
That's awesome.
And not getting distracted with
Mm.
anything else. But yeah, the biggest fear was just being able to afford it, but you made it a no-brainer.
Well,
So,
good. Well, good. And that was my heart behind the payment plan is I was like, I don't want this to be hard. Like I feel like the price is already really fair. And then
yeah,
like I want this to
yeah,
be, an easy decision for somebody that it's the right fit for.
yeah. And then after I got into the course and got through it all, I'm like, yeah, she should be charging twice this. But yeah, it was worth easily twice what I paid for, probably
Well, thank
more.
you.
But yeah,
Thanks. I appreciate that. So what would you say to somebody who's on the fence about jumping into the organic marketing framework?
just do it. It's so worth it. You're going to learn a lot. It just blew my mind on how much I understand and how easy it was to understand from going through the course and just the way that you lay it out step by step. It's like if you're wanting to learn anything about SEO, if you're wanting to learn anything about blogging, anything about email marketing, then this is the course that you need.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you, Bonnie. I appreciate it. So why don't you tell all of my pals where they can find you? Because goodness gracious, who knows? Maybe some of my listeners have a teenager that is wanting to write, and be a published author. So they need you.
Yes, absolutely. So my podcast is published before college, and I do my podcast under my pen name of author DK Drake, and that's my website as well. It's just authordkdrake.com. Like I said, it's a website. It's out there. It's active. It's not super fantastic yet, but it will be by July.
Mm-hmm. So and everybody starts somewhere. Right. And honest to goodness, like I do website copy. Like that's one of the things that I do for clients. And I still look at my website and I'm like, oh, I want to tweak this. Oh, I want to change this. Like it's an ever evolving thing, right? So don't feel like you are not that behind the curve.
Right. Good.
Really. So
yeah, and I figure it's like writing a book. I get a really bad first draft, but hey, I've got it done, and now I have something to tweak. And so now I've got my website out there. It's not super fantastic yet, but it's getting there. It's better than it was before, and I'll just keep revising it, and it'll be a nonstop thing. But at least I have a good strategy behind it now, and I feel good about that.
Yeah. For sure. Well, thank you so much, Bonnie. I appreciate your time. And y'all go, if you have a youngin' who wants to be an author, go check out her podcast. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Bonnie. I love how she said that she's so surprised at how much she understands SEO now. And I just love that because my heart behind anything that I teach is that I want to make your life easier. I want you to go further faster than I did. And so I'm excited that Bonnie's able to understand things and really gain traction much faster than I was able to, because I'm able to teach her SEO in normal people language in a way that makes sense. So if you have any hesitation at all about purchasing the organic marketing framework, reach out, shoot me an email, info@faithhannon.com. But really there's a sale going on right now, $50 off an already incredible price using code SPRING23. The sale ends May 23rd, and through May 23rd, you also get a bonus of you get to participate in one group coaching call, a 1-hour group coaching call, where you can bring me all your questions. You can show me your homepage copy, your sales page copy, whatever. We will get through a lot in 1 hour. So jump on in to the organic marketing framework. You get a student community as well as screen share tutorials through how to set up your website in SEO, how to do keyword research, where to put those keywords in once you've got them figured out. How to set up your website and show it. But where to put those keywords once you figure them out, how to blog strategically, how to craft a content strategy so that people actually want to read your content, and then how to repurpose that content so that you're not constantly spinning your wheels, and different tiers, like Bonnie mentioned, different tiers depending on where you're at in your business. So jump on in. The organic marketing framework is on sale right now. Code SPRING23 for $50 off. And I'm excited to see y'all on the inside. Thank you so much for listening in today. Hopefully this episode gave you some really tangible tips for better SEO and marketing to get more leads and more sales from your website. If it did, can I ask you a quick favor? Would you please share this episode with a friend and then just take 10 seconds and go leave a written review on Apple Podcasts? That is the very best way to help more Jesus-loving entrepreneurs scale their businesses so that they can help more people with their gifts and make an even bigger impact for the kingdom of God. And guess what? We now have a Facebook community where we can learn, hang out, and laugh. Go join the Facebook group now. It's linked in the show notes. And all the other things, courses, coaching, and copywriting can be found at my website, faithhannon.com. Until next time, God bless, and I'll talk to you soon.